guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Melissa, and today we're continuing our series about haunted locations in South Africa from a South African, me being a South African. So if you guys are curious about my little setup here, I did this for my film channel and I just decided, you know what, I'm just gonna do most of my Halloween videos with this setup because I think it kind of looks creepy. My mannequin heads tend to creep people out, and the mask over there I actually made for one of my short films on my film channel, so I'll link that down below if you want to go check it out. So today we're going to be talking about Fort Klapperkop. I've actually been there once and it is a really creepy historic site. So today I'm going to be talking a little bit about the history and what I personally experienced and felt while I was there. Okay, so let's get into it. Fort Klapperkop. This was the third fort erected by the German firm Krupp and was designed by von Dewitz and Wagner. The German forts were of the pentagonal reinforced type, which provided good frontal firing possibilities. Revolving artillery on the embankments of the fort would have been able to ward off attacks from any direction. The walls were crenellated to make defense possible in the event of the forts being surrounded. Trenches and barbed wire entanglements were erected around the forts as further reinforcement. The rooms of casements of the forts were reinforced by covering them with an embankment. By May 1986, planning had been concluded, and in April the head of the Bantu workers had gone out to find workers. By the 9th of May, these workers had arrived in Pretoria. They received 2.5 shillings a month, along with maize meal, meat, and tobacco. By July, there were 151 Bantu workers. The fort was constructed with the stone from the immediate area. In May, an oath of secrecy was taken amongst all those involved. Approximately 400 blanks, or whites, took the oath, including an architect, engineer, and a building contractor, and one woman. The Boers received financial assistance from the German bank in Berlin. Various pieces of heavy artillery was placed in the fort as armaments, but not one of the forts was ever fully armed. The well-known 155mm creosote cannon Long Tom was purchased specifically for the forts, and although at a certain stage every fort was armed with a Long Tom. Long Toms were one of the most popular cannons that was used at this time. These were withdrawn in the course of time. Fort Klapperkop was surrounded by a moat which had a drawbridge in front. The moat was never filled as the shell from which it was cut was too porous to hold water. It nevertheless provided an additional defense mechanism. Fort Klapperkop and Skanskop were effectively planned to defend the southern entrance into the city of Pretoria. A paraffin engine generated power at Fort Klapperkop and lightning conductors were erected. A heliograph and telegraph equipment were installed. The fort also had a telephone, a water reservoir, which received waters from the fountain valleys, was built under the provisions room. In order to further protect the new British capital, a network of blockhouses around Pretoria were erected and incorporated. One was built close to Fort Klapperkop. The Boers did not try to reoccupy this fort, so the fort experienced no further action during the war. So the fort kind of came to an end really quickly, but it was used in defense for wars. So I've actually been there, and all of the trenches and things are still there, and it's really creepy to think about all the soldiers who probably died in those trenches, and you can actually feel that it feels like you're in a war when you just walk through the entrance there past the trenches. You just feel like that anxiety of war. Okay, so the time I was there with my grandparents, so we went there and we spent a lot of time looking at the cannons, which was really cool. Personally, the cannons was one of the coolest things we actually saw there. But there's a couple of buildings, but you're only allowed to enter in a few of them. Some of them are closed off. There are old weapons there, old clothing, especially military clothing. There's a lot of rifles and guns and things like that in there. And then we were also allowed to go into the hospital little area. There were also a kitchen area, and there was also a little it was almost like a little church chapel kind of situation that they also had there. Okay, so as we were walking through the kitchen and the hospital area, I started getting really anxious. While we were in the hospital area, I could pick up on a very distinct spirit in that location. So the spirit I picked on was a younger male, probably around between 21 and 23 years old of age, and he died of some sort of brain trauma. That's what I could pick up there. I saw bandages on his head, and also his one foot was like bandaged as well. So he had an injury to his foot, but initially he died of the head injury. That's what I could pick up. And I also felt like he had like a wife, or like he had a special female person that he never got to see before he died, and that's why his spirit is still lingering around there. So that was really sad for me to personally pick up on that while we were there, and it really just made me sad. And then I also picked up on another spirit in the hospital area, but this one was a little bit more of like the I didn't really want to socialize with you kind of spirit. It was also a male, but this one was a little bit older. I'd probably say middle to late 20s, and he was a little bit more grouchy. I'm not really 100% sure how he died. I kind of got the feeling it was like something to do with like a fever, but I'm not 100% sure because he didn't really want to socialize. In the kitchen, I picked up on a woman's spirit, but she's very kind and very gentle. She didn't really present herself as much. I assume she was just basically there to do the cooking and the things for the men there. She was not involved in the war, and I don't really know exactly how she died. She didn't really want to like open up about that, but her soul is still lingering there for some reason, or just the memory of her spirit. But I did pick up on that, and that was kind of interesting for me too. And then the last spirit I picked up on was really more a malevolent spirit. It was one of the generals that was in charge of all of the soldiers, and I noticed his spirit while we were walking past the building where all of the clothing and the rifles and things were placed. And at this one uniform, I froze. And I just felt this intense, malevolent energy. Like, that guy was really not, like, I don't think he was a good guy. Like, I just got really bad vibes when I got to that one specific uniform, and I just felt this sense of dread and just this malevolent, very menacing feeling that I got. I felt like a pit in my stomach, and I'm not really sure, like, what happened to this guy or why he was there, but I just have a feeling he was involved with some really dark things. That's about all I experienced there, but there's also other people who also had some experiences where they've also seen apparitions and heard voices emanating from the building. They've seen shadow figures and things like that, or they see apparitions in the window. When they turn around, it's not there anymore. And a lot of people also get these weird feelings when they visit this place. So that's about all for this video that I'm going to talk about. If you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys!